The room was heavy with tension. The air conditioner hummed low, the blinds were half drawn, and the governor sat behind his mahogany desk, brows furrowed deeply. Chris stood in front of him, sweat collecting at the back of his neck. He was trying to make bitter news sound like candy. But the truth was too jagged to smooth out. Chris remembered when it all began. Chief Nboli wasn't just a name in politics, he was a mentor, a ladder. Like an elder in Ariaria market who teaches you the trade, gives you a stall, and shelters you like kin. When he called from London years ago, it was to say, "You're my boy now. Stick with me." But now, Chris was caught in the web of divided loyalty. Nboli had nurtured him, yes, but it was the governor who held the cards. Money, influence, and Section 308. Chris had to play the game smart. He had to appear loyal to the man in power now, not the man who might be. The governor leaned back. "So Nboli wants the ticket? Without me?" His voice carried the hollow weight of betrayal. He wasn't worried about Nboli's ambition. He was worried about becoming irrelevant, about being forgotten once the seat was gone. Power is a drug, and withdrawal is always brutal. He had groomed Nboli, given him the Senate seat, trusted him. Yes, Chief could be slippery, but weren't they all? Politics wasn't about honesty. It was a business. No factories, no shops, just influence, contracts, and currency moving in silence. He knew the truth, but he had to hear it aloud. Politics was the only hustle they knew. And Nboli? He might be the next in line, but not without a fight. As Chris stood quietly, the governor's frown deepened, not out of anger, but fear. He knew the end was coming, and it might not be pretty. Chris didn't need this drama. Not now. He was still trying to get his footing, trying to establish himself before someone else snatched the crown. And that someone was Chief Nboli. Time was running out, and the governor needed to hear the truth, raw and unfiltered. Inside the office, Chris laid it bare. "Sir, Chief Nboli is a wealthy man now. He no longer thinks he needs you. Once he gets power, he'll discard party traditions. No loyalty, no returns." The governor leaned forward slowly, his face hardened. "No matter how well you treat a goat, it'll still eat your yams," he said, voice low and firm. The governor saw something in Chris, sharpness, calculation. He remembered being just like him, hungry, observant, with ears tuned so finely he could hear the grass grow. A player, a survivor, maybe his successor. Chris knew the art. He could serve criticism on a silver platter so fine you'd thank him for the insult. He said, "Chief Nboli has been loyal, but ambition makes men bold. That's all it is." It was sugar-coated poison, effective, undetectable. To the governor, Chris was like a kite, soaring high, yet diving deep into chaos with precision. He could snatch victory from danger, just like that kite grabbing a chick right under a hen's wing and flying away. The governor leaned back and exhaled. "Chris, I've supported Nboli long enough. He can have Senate President, even VP. But governor, that's your ticket. I'll make sure of it." Chris sprang from his seat, eyes wide, both hands gripping the governor's. It was happening. The governor saw himself in Chris, hungry, sharp, and ruthless. That's what politics demanded. Climb higher, stay relevant, never let emotions ruin strategy. Nboli was done. Chris was the future. Chief Nboli will learn, the governor said quietly. He'll understand how these things happen. Politics is not about fairness. It's about staying ahead. And Chris was already in the lead. Chris understood the game. It wasn't about manifestos or public service. It was about buying power. You needed godfathers, religious figures, community chiefs, obas, emirs, kings, all stroked by ethnic pride and loyalty. Voters followed their lead, and Chris, he was ready to play. They had everyone that mattered in their pockets, just like the mafia. Power was their drug. It wasn't just about ruling, it was about looting. That was what politics had become. The more you stole, the more respected you were. These traits, greed, loyalty, control, were what first made Chief Nboli valuable to the governor. But now, Chris had them too. And even better, he was younger, smarter, and more dangerous. That's what won him the ticket. The governor whispered secrets to Chris, dirty ones, about how Chief Nboli stole blessing from Seb, about their London affair, about the baby boy on the way. Even Blessing's scan result wasn't a secret. Not to the governor, not in this game. The governor's grip on the state was total. He had loyalists, journalists, cultists, thugs. Everyone owed him. Their survival depended on him. Even Chris, as his chosen successor, was being watched. Loyalty wasn't assumed. It was enforced. It was more than politics. It was a system, a machine, smooth, ruthless, effective. Chris wasn't just a player anymore. He was becoming part of that machinery. And one day, it would all be his.